Hello, good morning students. In previous class, we have studied about lesson number 5 and hope you have completed the homework what given. Now today we are going to start a next lesson, lesson number 6, composition of matter. Now we'll discuss some questions based on previous knowledge. Can you recall? Now we What are the various states of matter? See, you are knowing the states of matter. Yes, the states of matter are three. They are solid, liquid and gas. Second question. What is the difference in ice, water and steam? So answer is ice, water and steam are in different state, that is solid, liquid and gaseous respectively. Now next third question. What are the smallest particles of matter called? The smallest particles of matter are called atoms. Fourth question. What are the types of matter? The types of matter are elements, compounds and mixture. Students will see one activity. So take some mustard seeds and in a transparent plastic jar, thread a long thread at the center of a big balloon and by means of a needle and tie it tight. Okay, tie it tight. Then next, stretch this rubber diaphragm and fix it on the mouth of jar by means of a rubber band. And then pull the diaphragm up and down. Pull this diaphragm up and down with the help of the thread, first slowly and then with moderate force and then vigorously. Vigorously means fast. And then see the observations. See the table given on page number 39. That is mode of pulling the diaphragm up and down. When we pull the diaphragm slow, that time what is the observation? Vibration in the same place. They vibrate at the same place. Next, when we pull the diaphragm with moderate force, then vibration at different places. And next one, vigorous means fast. When we pull the diaphragm fast, then what is the observation? Vibration all over the jar. On the above experiment, we give energy less or more to the mustard seeds by pulling the diaphragm up and down, making them move different. So now we'll see the particles in the solid, particles in the liquid and gaseous states of matter have movement somewhat similar to that. Now we'll study about the interparticle distance. An intermolecular force of attraction acts between the particles, that is atoms of molecules of matter. Intermolecular force is acting on atoms. So the extent of the particle movement is determined by the strength of this force. The particles of solid are very close to each other. You can see in the figure, the particles of the solid are very close to each other. Even here also you can see in ice is solid. The particles, that is atoms, are very close to each other and vibrate at their fixed position. They vibrate at their fixed position. Due to this, solids get properties like definite shape. See, solid, they are having definite shape as well as volume and also high density and non-compressibility. So here density means compactness. Their shape is compact, and in non-compressibility means they can't be reduced their size we cannot reduce easily. And see, next we'll see about the strength. The strength of intermolecular force is moderate in the liquid state. Now we'll go towards the next matter, state of matter, liquid. Here intermolecular force is moderate. So though it is not strong enough to fix the particles in definite position, it is strong enough to hold them together. See, at least these liquid particles, they are held together. So as a result, liquids have definite volume. See, liquids, they do not have definite shape, but they have definite volume. So, however, they have fluidity. Fluidity means they can flow and have definite volume, and their shape is not definite but changes in accordance with the container. See, liquids, they do not have definite shape, but in which container we are going to keep this liquid, they get the shape of that container. If you keep in the jar, the liquid will get the shape of the jar. If you put in any bucket, then it will get the shape of the bucket or any other substances. So, the intermolecular force in very weak in gases. Now we'll move towards the next type, that is gaseous state. Here the intermolecular force is very weak. Why? See, because the constituent particles of gases move freely and occupy all the available space. See, in gaseous state, the intermolecular space is much. They are very far away apart from each other, and therefore they can move freely in the given space. So, understood the different types: solid, liquid and gas. In solid, their intermolecular force is very less and they are having some definite shape. In liquid, they do not have definite shape but have definite volume, because here the intermolecular force is more. And in gaseous state, they are far away from each other, so they can move freely. Now we'll see the table. See, physical state of matter, solid. In solid, they are rigid, plastic and elastic, means they have some definite shape, and volume is also definite, shape definite, compressibility negligible, we cannot change their shape easily. Intermolecular force is strong in solid, and distance between particles is minimum, very less. Liquid, that is they are fluid, means they can flow. Then volume definite, shape indefinite, means they do not have fixed shape. Compressibility very small, and intermolecular force is moderate, moderate force is there, and distance between particles is also moderate in liquid. Next, gaseous state. In gaseous state, see here, they can flow and volume indefinite and shape is also indefinite, and compressibility, it is very high, and their intermolecular force is very weak as they are very far away from each other particles, and the distance between particles is very large. They are very far away from each other in gaseous state. Now we'll see the table given on page number 40. See, name of the material, that is water. So in water, chemical formula of water is H2O, and type of material is, it is compound, because two or more atoms of different elements, when they combine together, then that compound is formed. So here which are two different types of atoms? Hydrogen and oxygen. Now next element is carbon. So carbon, the chemical formula is C, and the type of material is, it is element, because only one type of atom is there. Now next we move towards oxygen. See, in oxygen, chemical formula is O2 and type of material is element. So here two types of atoms of the same element, that is oxygen. Therefore it is an element. Now next we'll move towards air. So air, it is C, containing different types of elements and compounds: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, H2O, water. All these again air molecules. This is a mixture because different types of elements and compounds are mixed. Now we'll move towards the next element, that is aluminium. So in aluminium, chemical formula is Al and type of material, it is element. Next, brass. Brass, it contains two types of elements, that is copper and zinc, and they are mixed in any proportion, not in a fixed proportion. So that is a mixture. And now next it is carbon dioxide, that is formula of carbon dioxide is CO2, and CO2 is a compound. Now we'll see that matter is classified into three types, that is elements, compounds and mixture. So by considering whether the smallest particle of matter are similar or different and what are they made of. So all the smallest particles in an element or a compound are alike, means similar, and the smallest particle in a mixture are of two or more types. See, now we'll see some examples. The smallest particles of an element contain identical atoms. Identical means similar. So, in oxygen, we are going to observe here that the two atoms are there. They are similar. Oxygen, two atoms bonded together. The smallest particle of a compound are formed by joining two or more atoms to each other. So here see, this is the compound. This compound name is water. Two atoms of hydrogen combined with one oxygen atom. See, the smallest particle of a compound are formed by joining two or more types of atoms to each other. So here oxygen is joined with hydrogen atoms. Now we'll see again some more examples. See here water, then next carbon dioxide. In carbon dioxide, one atom of carbon is joined with two atoms of oxygen. And next nitrogen. In nitrogen, two atoms of nitrogen are joined together and N2 is formed. Next O2, two atoms of oxygen are joined together. Now students, we will see the table given on page number 41. So first of all, we'll study about elements. So here given nitrogen molecule, that is N2. See, you can see here two identical atoms of nitrogen, that white color circles. So these are nitrogen molecules. And another example is oxygen molecule. Blue colored circles, these are the two atoms are joined together, bonded together, that is oxygen molecule. Constituent substances of element is only one, and it is that element itself. All the atoms, molecules of an element are alike, means similar. All the atoms in a molecule of an element are alike and are joined to each other by chemical bonds. Atoms or molecules of different elements are different. Now next we'll move towards compound, that is nitrogen dioxide, NO2. So here see in the picture. So here white color circle means nitrogen and blue color circle means oxygen. Two oxygen joined with one nitrogen. Another example is nitric oxide, that is NO. So here again one oxygen and one N, they are joined and NO is formed. So constituent substance of a compound is only one, and it is that compound itself. All the molecules of a compound are alike, similar. The constituent atoms of a molecule of a compound are of two or more types and are joined to each other by chemical bonds. The proportion of constituent elements in a compound is constant. properties of a compound are different than those of the constituent elements. The properties are going to change in the compound. Now we'll move towards mixture. That is mixture of N2 and NO2. So here you can see white color circle means that is N2 and 2 blue that is oxygen and 1 white circle means NO2. N2 and this one is NO2. So mixture of N2 and next O2. So here you can see these are oxygen and these white circle are nitrogen N2. Constituent substances of a mixture are two or more elements or compounds. Atoms or molecules of a mixture are of two or more types. The constituent molecules of mixture are different from each other and are not joined by chemical bond. The proportion of constituent substances in a mixture can change. The proportion is not fixed. The properties of constituent substances are retained in the mixture. So children, the topic. Now we'll study the next part. See, take the following objects, that is iron nail or sheet, and next copper wire, aluminium wire, a piece of coal. So all these things you have to take, and one more, that is sandpaper, and rub each object on a fresh surface of sandpaper and observe. See all these substances, nail, copper wire, aluminium wire, coal, each substance we have to rub on this sandpaper and we have to do observation and we have to record the observation in the table. In the table, first of all, iron nail. When we rub with the sandpaper, then what we'll observe, is the surface shiny? Yes or no? Yes. And does the shape flatten by hammering? Then see, iron nail get flattened by hammering. Next, copper wire. See, is the surface shining? Yes. Next, when we hammer it, it become flattened. In the same manner, aluminium wire, it is having shiny surface as well as it becomes flattened on hammering. Next, coal piece. We'll study about the types of substances. That is, they are classified as, elements are classified as metals and non-metals, and more, that is metalloids. So we'll see one experiment, that is regarding types of compounds. So for experiment, what are the apparatus we need? Evaporating dish, tripod stand, burner, etc. And chemicals, camphor, washing soda, blue vitriol, sugar, glucose, urea. And now we'll see the experiment. So keep the evaporating dish on the tripod stand, and as how it is shown in the figure, like that way we have to keep the evaporating dish on the tripod stand and heat the camphor in the dish strongly with the help of a burner. In the dish, what we have taken? Camphor, and we have to heat this camphor with the help of a burner. And then see, find out what remains behind in the evaporating dish after burning. What will remain? So again repeat this same experiment by using different substances such as limestone, washing soda, blue vitriol, and again sugar, glucose, urea in place of camphor. And after doing this experiment, we have to record the observations in the table. So we'll see the table which is given on page number 42. So powder in the evaporating dish, first of all what we have taken? Camphor. So when we give heat to camphor, then what are the observations? So no residue, means nothing will remain behind here in the dish. And color of the residue? No, nothing, because nothing is there, then we can't say any color about it. The next is limestone. So residue is remaining here and the color of the residue is white. When we give heat to limestone, it becomes converted into white color residue. And washing soda, residue will remain here in the dish and the color of the residue is white. Now we'll see about the next part, that is organic compounds or carbon compounds. In case their combustion is not complete, combustion is burning. If it is incomplete, then black colored carbon remain behind as residue. When complete combustion does not take place, black colored carbon remain behind. That is called residue. These compounds are called organic compounds or carbon compounds. For example, materials like camphor, sugar, glucose, urea, petrol, cooking gas, etc. These are all organic compounds. Now we'll see about non-organic compounds or inorganic compounds. The compounds that decompose on strong heating to leave a residue behind are inorganic compounds. Example, that is common salt, soda, rust, blue vitriol, limestone. These are all inorganic compounds. Now complex compounds. The molecules of compounds have a complex structure formed by many atoms, and in the center of this structure metal atoms are also included. Such compounds are known as complex compounds. For example, chlorophyll. You all know that this chlorophyll is found in leaf that contains magnesium. Hemoglobin, which is present in the blood, that contain iron. And cyanocobalamin, that is vitamin B12, that contain cobalt. Friends, I hope you understood the today's topic. So for better understanding, read the topic, observe the video and do the given homework.